Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Flosser podcast. My name is Billy Lunt. I am your host, and I'm here to talk to you about all things dental hygiene to support you in your journey through the dental hygiene program. It is really great to be with you today. Uh, so today's topic, it's a hot topic for me, and I'm seeing it, I'm asking students about it, and I wanted to share about it. There's lots of people talking about dental hygiene burnout. Here's my question to you. Is dental hygiene burnout starting in school? Now, you know, on my podcast, this is a place where dental hygiene students can come to feel supported, understood, and reminded that they are absolutely capable of doing hard things. I tell you this as often as I possibly can because sometimes we need to hear things over and over and over. But I really think that burnout is not just after years of being in private practice. I think it's starting in school. So if you're a dental hygiene student and you've been feeling exhausted, maybe a little overwhelmed, emotionally drained, or like you're losing your spark that you felt at the start of the program, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone. And there's nothing wrong with you. Something real is happening. And this is what we're going to talk about. My goal for this episode is very simple. I want to help you understand why burnout is showing up so early, how to really recognize it, and then what you can do to protect your energy, your confidence, and your mental health while you're still in school. So let's just get into it. So this is no surprise to anyone. Dental hygiene school has always been intense. But there is something that has shifted, and maybe it's post-COVID, I don't really know, in the last few years. Students are entering the program at a time when the patient complexity is higher, faculty shortages are real, the pressure to be perfect starts on the very first day, the expectations are really high. And then you add in things like social media, comparison culture, and then that constant feeling of I should be doing more, fear of missing out. It's really no surprise to me that you're burning out before you even graduate. And I just want to define burnout. It's not really just being tired. It's literally a chronic state of emotional, mental, and physical depletion caused by prolonged stress without having the opportunity to rest and recover. And I know that I have given you guys several episodes about how to rest and recover, and this is exactly why. So think about dental hygiene curriculum. This actually creates the perfect storm for burnout. Long clinic days, heavy academic loads, constant persistent evaluations, that doom fear of making a mistake, that real pressure to perform, how you're evaluated. You literally have a faculty watching you perform. That is that is exhausting all by itself. And then you have really limited time for rest. Sometimes you'll have, full day of classes and then you're at 7 a.m. Like those other students in school, they don't have 7 a.m. clinic time where you have to be on your peak performance. So when you're being grading on your skills, your speed, your professionalism, your communication, your ergonomics, your infection control, like every aspect, your every part of your brain has to actually engage in all of these things. Uh, it's a lot for anyone, to be honest. So if you feel like you're running on empty, doesn't that make a lot of sense after I throw that list together for you and start really dissecting what's expected of you? So that's that's real, guys. The stakes are high, the stack is big, and the overwhelmed feeling is pretty. It can happen in the first semester, sadly. But I just want to say it doesn't always look like crying in the bathroom, although that happens too. We all go in the locker room and sometimes lose it. Sometimes it's subtle, little subtle things that change in you that show up as burnout. So let me give you some signs that I see in students all the time. You wake up in the morning, you're already tired. You dread clinic even when nothing bad is happening or has happened. And think about this, clinic is where you're supposed to feel like the most connected, the most excited. It's where all the action happens. It's the patient care piece, but yet you're dreading going to clinic. Maybe you feel behind no matter how much you study, like you just can't keep up, the pace is too fast. Or you notice that you're more irritable or emotional than usual, and that's where the crying in the locker room happens. Maybe you notice that you're losing confidence in skills that you used to feel good about. Maybe last semester you were doing really well in this one thing and now you're on the struggle bus for it. Maybe you notice that you feel disconnected from the why that helped you start your journey. This is a challenging journey, and if you're disconnected from your why, that can really uh, initiate the burnout. Or maybe you are noticing that you're just going through the motions, but you're not real there's no feeling behind, the learning, the development, the skill acquisition. Maybe it's just, here I am again, here I am again." So or maybe like me when I was in dental hygiene school, you feel guilty when you rest because there's so much for you to do, and you don't actually see that the resting is one of the key pieces to your performance acquisition and your skill development and actually performance doing better. You just feel guilty when you rest, and then you get on this treadmill of really, unsustainable behavior. And this is also something I see when I'm watching you guys. You compare yourself constantly. How am I? This one has their requirements done. I don't have that requirement done. This one's already finished with this. I didn't get my patient done. Every patient is different. Every student is different. Everyone's learning journey is different, but comparison sucks the joy right out of our soul. So you are on your own journey. And I'm telling you, everyone has their struggles. So don't feel like someone else, it just seems so easy to them or it comes effortless to them. Everyone has to really be mindful of how they show up and what they're accomplishing without comparison. Oh my gosh. If you got rid of the energy of comparison, it would literally lighten your load by 50%. So, if anything on this list that I just said hits home, I just want you to know as a student, you're not failing. You're just experiencing some burnout symptoms. And the earlier that you recognize them, really the easier they are to manage and kind of move past them. So, the other piece I have to talk about is the emotional side that students, that faculty don't necessarily share all the time. So there's an emotional layer that a lot of students hide because dental hygiene school can make you feel a lot of things. It can make you feel like you're judged, you're inadequate, like you're always being watched, like one mistake and you're done. You're out of the program. You've got to go do some other career. Like everyone else is doing better than you. And when you constantly are in a state of evaluating yourself against the group, your nervous system stays totally activated. So you're not just learning, you're performing, and that is exhausting. So let me tell you some of the things students say to me in my office or in some sessions that I have with them. I'm scared to ask a question. I don't want to disappoint my instructor. I feel like this might not be the right career for me. I feel like if I mess up, one mess up and I'm done. Now, these thoughts don't mean that like you're weak or anything. It means that guess what, guys? You're human. And they are a huge part of why burnout starts so early. Imagine if none of those feelings were true, that you can mess up, that you're on a learning journey, that skill acquisition comes with setbacks. And sometimes you have to take a step back in order to move forward. If you feel scared to ask a question, so just kind of evaluate your beliefs, evaluate those things that you are saying out loud. You feel like you're not cut out for this. That means you're disconnected from your why completely because you would not go through all the rigors to get into dental hygiene school if you were not cut out for this. You don't want to disappoint your instructors. Can I tell you, your instructors are there because they want to successfully provide you feedback to help you grow. It's a lot easier as a faculty member to say nothing and just be passive, but we step into the arena, right? We're doing the hard things to help share and help foster growth and learning in your educational journey. So don't be scared to ask questions. You are not going to disappoint your instructors. Your instructors are just as challenged as you are, and burnout is real for them, but they show up with their whole self to help you. All right, so let's let's kind of shift into, okay, so I have a little burnout starting in dental hygiene school. So what can I do about it? Okay, so I want you to create what I call a bare minimum plan. So not every day of your week has to be a high performance day. So this, I'm sharing this to you guys. This works for me. I have I don't have just a plate in my life right now. I have a platter. And so here's three things. What are three things I must get done today? So the three things goal has totally changed my entire life. Every day, prioritize three things you have to do. Everything else in your life outside of those three things is optional. I will tell you that this little strategy reduces your overwhelm and gives your brain a sense of completion. I don't know a dental hygienist who doesn't like a list that they can just check off. So just make sure you only put three things on it. Okay. All right. Here's the next thing. And I do this a lot. Build micro rest into your day. So you don't need a spa day, although maybe we could schedule that in, okay? You don't need a spa day. You need 60 seconds of nervous system regulation, right? So try the box breathing. So let me tell you what box breathing is. I started doing this and it is phenomenal. So they say that you should breathe in, and then when you breathe out, you should exhale a little deeper, like more than what you breathed in. So if you just visualize a box, so your eyes start at the lower right-hand corner and you breathe in for 4 seconds and your eyes track to the upper right corner. And then you hold your breath all the way to the upper left-hand corner for 4 seconds. When you breathe out, your eyes kind of track down to the lower left-hand corner, but you're going to breathe out all the way till you get back to the lower right-hand corner. That is box breathing. I hope that makes sense to you. I know that I'm like talking and you might not see me, but you can hear what I'm saying. Actually take a moment to unclench your jaw. If you actually say, "Am I clenching?" You actually increase your chances of stopping that habit. So just unclench your jaw, stretch your shoulders, step outside for fresh air. I know that I've shared several times that when I'm just having a moment, I want a micro rest, I will go outside and walk around our little quad that we have on our campus. I'll just do a loop a couple of times, come back in. It totally resets my nervous system. Intentionally drinking water is another thing. So small resets, guys, small resets. So when you actually pause and take a breath and then take a drink of water and actually say, oh, this is my little mini rest. I'm going to take 3 sips of water. Not only does it help you, but the fact that you're thinking about that as a micro rest goes a long way. And you're getting hydrated. Okay. All right. My next tip. Stop comparing your progress. Everyone, oh my gosh, especially on instrumentation skills. Can I just tell you, I have the pleasure of being able to do skill enhancements with the students from the very first semester, and I just love that skill acquisition and watching them learn instrumentation. But can I tell you, I can have 5 students in my skill enhancement session, and they all started the program on the same day, and they are all at different stages. It's just so interesting. And then here's the next thing. Everyone gets different types of patients, right? You might have really challenging patients that are on 9 medications with no calculus. Someone else might have someone that's young and healthy with lots of calculus. So everyone gets different patients. It's okay. You're going to have different experiences. So don't compare yourself. And then everyone has different faculty. Can I tell you? Faculty works so hard at being calibrated, but the real news, guys, we're all different humans. So you get really an enriched session every time you come into clinic because every single faculty has their strengths. And guess what? Every single faculty has their weaknesses too. Some of them are really focused on things like infection control and ergonomics. Some of them are really focused on things like periodontal disease, recession, probing, gingival assessment. Some of them are really focused on things like your instrumentation skills. So, and your grasp and your fulcrum. Look at that as a bonus. Okay. Don't look at that as a hindrance or challenge. And look forward to working with each one of those. Once you learn what that faculty is really good at giving you feedback about, say, okay, this patient's coming in today. I'm working with Miss So and so. I know that she really looks at the tissue. I'm going to need her help. I'm going to learn something from her today. So just know that if you can just change how you're looking at that opportunity, you're going to learn more and you're not going to be as stressed, right? Your journey is not supposed to look like anyone else's. And if I had it so that every single faculty was exactly the same, I think it would be a disadvantage for you as a student. So I want you to really look at it as a great opportunity to have different faculty in your day. Now, I want you to also think differently about the feedback you receive. It is not a personal attack, it's data. Here's some things that you can ask your faculty if you get feedback that you don't understand or maybe you take a little personal. Ask them, "Can you show me what you mean by this?" Or, "I see that you gave me some feedback on maybe it was instrumentation. What should I focus on next time that I'm in clinic in this area?" This allows the faculty to further explain their feedback, and I think you'll see that there's a human behind that feedback, and that is going to go a long way at helping you look at it as data instead of a personal attack. And what does improvement look like for the skill? Maybe the faculty was talking to you about your ergonomics, and you can say, okay, how do I improve that next time? What would it look like for my ergonomics if you did, because that feedback means that there was something going on there. So when you shift from shame to growth, your feedback will be felt different inside your body. Your nervous system will accept that feedback in a completely different way. The other thing is, I just want you to protect your identity. You're not just a student, you're a whole person. You have hobbies, you have interests, you have relationships, you have a life outside of clinic. So when school becomes your entire identity, that's where burnout also sets in. So give yourself permission to be more than just your grades. When you get to your study sessions with your classmates, focus on your studies, but then make sure at the end you have some time to like build in community building where you're talking about things that are outside your identity as a student. And that talking to your classmates, talking to faculty that you trust, talking to your friends outside of the program, this is going to take the burden off of your shoulders of feeling like all you are is school. Okay. So, and then it's just so vitally important that when you figure out what's causing you to feel that burnout, you go back to the reason why you started, right? Burnout disconnects you from that. Why are you on this journey? Taking a moment to ask yourself, why did I choose dental hygiene? And who do I want to help? What kind of clinician do I want to be? How do I want to be described by others? What impact do I want to have? Those are all the vital questions you have to ask yourself so that your why becomes part of who you are again, right? It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be some like magical reason why you are on this journey, but maybe you have to write it down and stick it in your locker on the door. Make it your phone wallpaper or something. Return to it every time something gets really hard to bring yourself back to center. You know, some people do vision boards. You can do that strong connection to your why. And then if you're listening to this and thinking, wow, this is exactly how I feel, I want you to hear my message loud and clear. You are not alone. You're not failing. You're not falling behind. You are not the only one struggling. Dental hygiene school is hard because you're learning to take care of people's health. You're learning a skill set that takes time, repetition, and a whole boatload of patience. Now, burnout doesn't mean that you're not cut out for this. It means you need support. It means you need rest. And it means that you need to set some realistic expectations for yourself. You're capable, you're growing, and guess what, guys? You will truly get through this. I am proud of you. I really am. So if you've listened to this entire episode, I am proud of you. That means that you are really focused on turning things around for yourself with burnout. So as always, guys, I enjoy the time that I get to spend with you. I appreciate you listening. be sure that you leave me a kind review. That really helps other students discover this podcast because I do not have some big production team or all kinds of marketing campaigns going on. This is all just word of mouth. And I'm really hoping that if there's one student out there that gets benefit from this episode, then I've done my job. But it'd be so much better if you share this with your community. I appreciate you all. Have a great week. I'll talk to you soon.